right?
How are you? Yes.
Okay, good.
Definitely.
Okay, your candidate
Yes.
for the Doral City Council.
Yes.
All right, you're in a runoff right now.
Yes.
The primary was a week or two.
November 3rd.
November
Yeah.
3rd.
Yeah.
And it's been almost a month.
Yes, it's almost a month,
And
I'm glad we only have a week left.
so you've been involved in business and in civic and social activities for years.
Yes.
Right. So let's tell us first of all, what are some things you've been doing with the city, whether it's on business or involved with the city boards?
Well, I'll tell you first. I started to get involved because of my children back when we were not a city. In 2000, I met J.C. Bermudez in a meeting when
we were just kids then.
Yeah, it was the West Dade Chamber of Commerce back then.
Yes, with
Mr. Madrigal, who used to be the president or the person that led the organization, and at the moment we didn't have any parks. We have few schools. The high school kids will have to drive to Miami Springs after the Miami Springs kids had their class. So they started their classes at 4 in the afternoon until 9 at night. They will be bused from Doral to Miami Springs. And those are things that were not right for us, you know. And as a parent, and as I started to get involved, and we started doing a movement to incorporate and get those dollars that were going from our area to the county that will never come back, you know, to keep them and invest them, which we did. And in 2003, we were successful.
Before you go on, a lot of people didn't know where Doral was, all right? Even though it wasn't a city then, there was a Doral Community Council and it was the Doral area. I would tell people, go to 36th Street on the Palmetto. As soon as you turn left and start going west, stop at her Bets and have a nice sandwich over there. You probably did that many times.
Yes.
And as soon as you go, you're going to see this building in the middle called Ryder Truck. Go a little bit past that, and you're going to get into Doral, right?
Yeah, that's what Doral was then, definitely. And when I moved to Doral in the year 2000, the only thing west was where I live, which is Doral Landing, and they were starting to build Doral Isles, which is a big development with over 2,000 homes that's been there since 96, 97. But it was great what we did. We created a movement and an organization called One Doral.
Yes.
And J.C. Bermudez, the current mayor, was the president then, and I became the president after he became elected. And I started to get involved and continue to be involved with different boards. I started with the Parks and Recreation Board, and we created the Doral Little League, the Broncos, which is the football team. Later on, a group of Argentinians wanted to do rugby in the city, which they became the rugby team. So we're very diverse with tennis. We have all the sports that you can imagine in the city.
And 890,000 people a year on your trolleys.
Yes.
Which is an amazing thing.
I think so.
Doral has how many people now? 50,000 plus, right?
No, 70 almost.
See, I knew it was 50,000 plus.
Yeah,
I forgot that
we hit the 50,000 mark, and we were able to get into the TPO,
right,
which is very important for our city.
Yes,
definitely.
A lot of people don't know. At some point, you become like a player.
Yes,
and that starts at the 50,000 range. So that entitles you to do what? To get what?
Well, be on the board. So J.C. Bermudez, the mayor, is now part of the group that of cities that do the planning on transportation, which before we didn't have a voice. Now we're loud, and we can ask for things that before we were not part of it. So that's very important.
One of the things about Doral, if you haven't been out there, you need to go out and take a look see what's really going on. Go on a Sunday, all right? And so you can really see everything rather than all the cars that are there.
Yes.
It's probably one of the best cities in Miami-Dade County.
Thank you.
It's either number one or number two. Coral Gables, the other one. All right.
Thank you.
There's no question. And whenever I want to be inspired, because I live out in horse country, I get on the turnpike, I go over there, and I go, "Here it is, man. This is great."
It is.
So, I see a lot of people have endorsed you there on the city council.
Yes.
I did want to.
I'm blessed for that.
Yes.
Yes.
I did want to bring it up because some people in whatever city it happens to be, recently it was in Palmetto Bay, they say it's will there be this this fraternity, all right?
Right.
Not a sexist fraternity, but so whatever you want to call it,
Right.
this brotherhood,
understand.
womanhood, right? We're all buddies here. And will that cause there not to be a dissenting voice or somebody to question the voice of the people that endorse them? So if you would.
Well, that's typical when somebody is on a situation that may lose the election. I think unity, as we've had for 20 years, me, JC, and others in the council, that we created a city, that we fought for the area and for the residents in the area without anything in return for so many years. So unity is not a puppet. Unity is a group of residents that united 20 years ago and had a vision to make an area that is now a city a better area for everyone, my children, my family, and for everyone else, and those that are moving in. So,
by the way, that's exactly the scenario in Palmetto Bay, where a lot of the people were endorsing somebody that was friends, and that was the question that went on. And you explained it very well.
I will ask you if you needed a plumber. You have a newspaper. You have these shows now, and we were talking about it before this. If you needed a plumber, would you call someone that you know, or would you call someone on some media or whatever? You call this the person that you can trust, and I think that's why JC, Claudia, and everybody else, Pete and Digna, the councilwoman and the councilwoman and the councilman Pete Cabrera, they endorse me because they know who I am. They know my values, and we're aligned of what we want for the city of Doral.
And we recently had an alumni, Christy Fraga, who is now on the school board. She's 32-ish.
She's very young.
Yes, and it's like, and then I forgot she was like 23 when she got on the Doral council, and also there's somebody else in the South End. Luisa Santos, also about the same age, and also somebody else pretty young. So my congratulations to the ladies. And there's one gentleman on the school board, and the rest are ladies.
Yes.
And also, by the way, in Palmetto Bay, for the first time, there's majority women. There's 3 women out of 5. All right, and it's never been that many. So congratulations to them. What's the makeup of your council?
It will be either way. What happens on December 8th? It will be 3 men and 2 women. Okay. So that's the makeup. Yeah.
All right. So
it's almost balanced.
So Ruth Ginsburg Bader was asked, when are you gonna stop pushing for women on the Supreme Court? She says, when they're all women, just like when it was all men before.
I think very highly of women in the professional life, and I admire those, and I see my wife. My wife did a master's degree 3 years ago at age, she will kill me, but later on in her life, and that's admirable. She wanted to be better in her profession, and she made that decision with our kids were older already, and that's amazing. The same thing happened with my kid's godmother. She later on did a master's, and she's a very successful executive at logistic companies. So it's what woman is doing nowadays, having kids, running the house usually, because that's the way it is. It's amazing. I like it.
And for the first time, Miami-Dade County has a woman as mayor.
Yes, congratulations,
Mayor.
definitely.
Daniela Levine Cava. It was a big deal, and she had a lot of votes from the other side, right?
Yes.
A lot, right? And because
she was
when you
able
look
to
at Down Party,
yes,
right? Because she was able, she stood for something. She did something people could buy into that, right? And she comes from she's a social worker background, and I used to be in the health medical arena, and so I immediately sensed this calmness, this caring about her.
And it's not easy doing campaigning, especially at that level. It's
and she was there, and I'm going, look at this lady.
And by the way, I hope she gets better with the news that she had COVID. I hope she does well. Yes.
All right. So here you have your election that's coming up in a couple days. That's next Tuesday.
Yes.
Right. And When did you realize that you wanted to be involved in making a difference?
Like I told you, back in the year 2000, I will never imagine back then that I will be in this situation. I've always been in sales. I'm a sales type of person. That's my background for many years, and getting involved it came without noticing it. Once you start doing service, first it was a trigger of, well, we don't have parks for our kids, and the typical resident that
Yep.
hey, we want something better, which we all have our rights to do that. And then it became, you start servicing, and we did the first Fourth of July parade before we were a city. You start getting involved, you're getting, calling people to join you, and then you see the results and the good things that come out of it, and you start liking it, and this time was, well, I've been serving for 20 years the city of Doral, where my kids grew, where my wife and I have had our first home. And I said, "Yeah, it's time to serve even more, to have a more access to the things that can impact my neighbors and my family."
So, who in your life was really influential for you to help form who you are today?
I think I would say my grandfather on my mother's side. He was someone that was very service oriented. He loved people. He loved helping people, and I think that's who I got it from.
So, I know these things are very passionate, and these things become emotional when we look back and say, "Gee, here I am today," and what occurred before to get me to where we are today. And if you've ever looked at your family history, all right, that you look back at these pictures, all right, of your family, many of whom you haven't met, all right,
Yes.
it makes a change. A fellow walks into our office about 10 years ago. We're related. So we said, "Why, you got some money
wow.
for us?" The guy's about 75, and he starts talking. I said, "My aunt is here. She's about your age. Let me bring her up." She comes up. Sure enough, when they were this big, they played together, and they had the same connection through
Oh
grandparents.
wow.
And when I saw what he brought and saw all these people that went before, that helps formulate who you are. And so we pick up little pieces like that. So let's talk about what you think that people want, all right, in Doral. Why are they going to vote for you?
They want stability. They want a continuation of what they've had the last 4 years, of what they had when JC was the mayor as well. We had a hiccup for 4 years
Yes,
that
I remember
I
that.
call it the area of chaos in the city of Doral, where the master plan was not followed, and things were not right. We were on the news all the time, negative press, and I believe that the voters were loud and clear when they voted for this time for J.C. Bermudez for his reelection with 70%, and for Claudia Mariaca, who's the other councilwoman that won in this election, with 65%. So we've had 4 years of peace, progress, good governance, transparency, and those are things that our voters want, and that's what I'm going to join and continue with this group, and that's what I call the unity.
And you bring up a really good point. When prior to JC, when he was not mayor, every day it was, I'm going, oh my
I laugh,
God,
but it's not funny.
What is going
Oh
on
my God.
in Doral?
Yes,
It was just crazy.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So one of the things that's come up, people have called us and said, "Well, what are these guys going to do about?" I'm going to call it the dump. I'm not sure that that's what it
the
is.
dump. The dump.
What is it called?
There's two areas where they have. One is the resource recovery facility,
Yes.
which is a plant that generates electricity, which is in the city of Doral, and the other one is the open dump, which is in the city of Medley. And that one, the current council and mayor reach an agreement with, as I understand, with Waste Management, which is the management company that runs the place. It's a privately owned, but it's run by them, and they were able to agree to better the situation. Number one, as I understand, the area that faces Doral and the houses are going to cover it with grass, The other one, they're going to extend the amount of piping that and burn more of the gas that smells, which is the not propane. It's I forgot the name of the gas, but it's the gas that generates that you can burn it. So we're gonna have they're gonna have that. They are going to send trash that's smelly to other landfills and not to that one. So, but remember that one thing. There's two things that we need to remember. The city was able to reach that agreement, and even though that dump is in another city that doesn't complain and doesn't in any way say, "Hey, I don't want this here." So it's important to realize that it was a big step that what they did. And the other one, which is the resource recovery facility, on 2023, is the end of their contract. In my position, I will fight it so that contract is not renewed, so they can move it. I think it's, for what I hear, it's financially.
It was that's the one that's in Doral.
In Doral, the financially, it will be, if they have to put it up to standards now, and update it and invest, and if they do that. And if they move it, I think financially will be a better situation for the owners as well.
If they move,
so, yeah, it costs a lot to upkeep.
And how many acres is that, the current site, more or less?
I would say 30.
So I'll bet everybody in Doral would love that to happen.
Well, remember that they have that ash that they build up.
Yes,
and that ash, it's high in minerals, so I think that will not be possible. I think just closing it will be enough. I don't know what they will do with it. But
and how long have they been there? More or less
30 years.
Right. So Doral got built around it.
Yes.
Right? And so it sort of reminds me, we own property in an agricultural area.
Oh, yeah?
And people, they go...
You should have sold it.
Yeah. So people come out and they go, gee, there's that noise next door. I said, yeah, that's a horse, or it's a or it's a spray, or it's a tractors. I said, when you move into an agricultural area, you get that.
Right.
So, folks, when you move next to the airport, you're going to get airport stuff.
Yes.
But so Doral residents may have an opportunity to voice their opinion to the city council, and because that lease, is it a lease?
Yeah, well, it's a contract.
A contract with
the county. With the county, yeah.
Right. And if somebody wants to voice their opinion about that over the next 2 years, who would they voice that to?
Well, I will feel that the entire council is opposed to renewing that.
That would be a surprise.
Of course. So, but yeah, the council will be at the council meetings. Right now, they're virtual, like most things, but you can also, voice your opinion online. And I hope a lot of people do.
We've been
not only to us, but to the commission.
Yes.
Most importantly, because the commission is the one that's
going.
County commission may renew or not. But remember, out of the entire commission and the county, we only have one representative. He can say no, but the rest can say yes. So it's important to get behind this movement and make sure that other commissioners support our commissioner, whoever will be at the time, because I think there's elections in 2 years, and Pepe Diaz cannot run again. So whoever will be the commissioner at the time in 2023, get behind that person. I hope that person will be against that contract and push for it.
We've been very fortunate to share with the residents of Palmetto Bay through some of their representatives, to where 3 or 4 things that the city council was trying to get done, they undid it, because people came on here and urged the homeowners,
it's important.
Send emails, text them, call them.
And nowadays it's easier.
Yes.
A lot easier.
Yes. And so we have the dumps, if you will.
Yes.
What else do people want?
People want the COVID to be over. in reality.
If,
You know, it's
if we're really lucky, come
if we're
March or so,
lucky.
we'll be able to get
Yes,
our vaccine.
yes.
Um,
And that, I think that's a big concern. You know, the health situation in the country and in each one of our cities. I think people want safety. I believe I believe our residents want the same thing I want for my family. You know, I lived in the city for 20 years. It's very similar. We, you know, maybe one resident might want something different, but it's not the big picture. I think
Yes.
the big picture will be the COVID, the smell that we have in the city, the traffic that we have, and everybody talks about the traffic, and it's I think traffic is a regional problem, and I was saying it yesterday in another program. It's a problem that we have to fix together. The cities, the legal cities, every mayor and every council person should get together behind investing in mass transportation.
Yes. I do want, since you brought up about
Yes.
COVID, folks, when people were over here, when people come in, we take their temperature, clean their hands. Your tag
Where's
just
my-
fell. I saw
oh,
it fall.
oh,
All right.
there it is.
Oh, there it is. We tag, and this is glass in between us. It's just not a black line.
You guys have an incredible system.
Yes. And one of the things that you said clearly, we all basically want the same things. We want to
Yes.
take care of ourselves, our family. We want to make a living. We want our kids to be educated
Definitely,
and do better than we are.
We want parks. We want, you know, those that have children with, you know, early age. They want to be able to take their kids to soccer.
A couple
baseball.
people say hello. Nick Angelos, David Singer, now former council person in Palmetto Bay. He's going to be a has-been really soon. Has-been. All right, Eckert, Leo, Leafy Meyer, say hello. So,
thank you for watching.
Yeah, thanks. So we all want the same things, and especially right about now that we want to be healthy. All right.
Yes.
We want this thing to be over. You know, within a couple months, I suppose we'll be on our way to do that, and we want to be happy.
Yes.
All right. And so people want to know. And I'm going to ask you a couple times why people should vote for you.
Well, the same thing I said. We want to continue stable, transparent government, good governance, and I will bring that to the city. And again, the unity of the current government, the current elected officials, to continue to have a great city. I was telling somebody yesterday that we have a complete city. And I believe Doral has become a world-class city as well, just like Miami is, you know. And we have to be able to maintain that. You know, it's like a jewel. You don't put it out in the open. You put it in a safe environment, and having good governance, it's a safe environment. And I believe that the city of Doral needs that.
By the way, I'm going to do a shout out for Morgan Levy. If there was a father of incorporation, he certainly was one of them.
Yes,
all right?
Yes. Him and Jesse Jones, by the way. Yeah, those are two staples in our community.
So when you think about the hard work that you've done and many other people throughout the new cities, that you have people that have showed up the last 10 years, go, oh, there's that city over there. Yeah, a lot of people worked a long time to get it where it's at, right?
Yes.
And one of the things that the town of Cutler Bay has done was purchase land, right? That was for sale by developers. They wanted to put up, or they were going to put up apartments, and they moved their city hall over. They're going to have 20 acres. It's going to be their own central park. And I know the Doral is big on parks.
Yes.
Big.
Huge.
Yes. And that is significant to be able to provide that for, the residents.
And we've won awards. We've been in main newspapers and magazines about our parks, and I think it's incredible. Our residents are that's why I call it complete.
Yes.
We have all schools in the city of Doral are 8 schools, grade A by the state. It's not easy when you have a huge population of residents that come from other countries and don't speak the language for the kids for the first 6 months or a year, and still are able to get an A. It's not only I say this is the job of the city. It's a job of the principals and staff and the parents all together. It's amazing what's happening in the city of Doral. So the schools, the parks, you have now movie theater within the school, within the city. We have a shopping center, which is International Mall, which is a great partner for the city. We have anything you get me. We have nightlife.
And
we
you
have
got a great
everything.
dentist, Dr. Raul Gonzalez, Dr.
Raul
Smile,
Gonzalez.
right here, baby. Thank you, Doc.
Good commercial there. But we that's why I call it a complete city. We have it all, and it's incredible. It's happening there, and it will continue to be that way.
So I know a lot of the businesses across the country, in particular, here in Dade County and in Doral, a lot of restaurants are there and struggling. What is it the city can do to try to assist them in their greatest time of need?
We were able to. The mayor was able to get some of those dollars from the county that they were holding for a while, and those are being distributed through a process that they have to fill out an application and prove, I guess, what's going on with their business. I believe that we need to push what I was telling the Herald yesterday is eat Doral, spend in Doral. We now that we have it all, we have the restaurant,
local.
Yeah, it's not local.
Yeah, that was the old machine.
But yes, we need to push, and it's happening. And another thing that's happening in Doral, people are moving to Doral because we have a great base of job opportunities. We have a lot of companies because of our proximity to the airport, to the port, the warehousing district. We have major corporations. Recently, one of the health companies, Florida Blue,
That's okay.
recently moved from Kendall to Doral.
Oh,
That's
no
just a
kidding.
lot. It's a huge company, a lot of employees, a lot of opportunities.
So 10 years ago, maybe 20 Baptists had a place there. Then Kendall Region opened a place, and now, of course, you have Jackson Memorial Hospital.
Yes, we're
And
building.
Milton was a
How
big-
many jobs are we going to be creating there? 600 or
Just
so?
think, we used to go there to AAA or 4A to buy the stuff, and I went to the back one time, 18-wheelers lined
Yes.
up all over the place.
Yes.
And
We still have the 18-wheelers though, but we have a lot more now.
yes.
Yes.
So Doral is really it's stands up hot, very high, big posture, big positions, lots of business from the small ones to the largest. So what are some of the things that are happening that people want to know that are in the works that you wanted to share with them?
Art,
Okay.
which is the last thing, or maybe one of the last things that we didn't have that is starting to happen. We now have the DORCAM, which is the Doral Contemporary Art Museum, is starting. We had an event yesterday, which is the inauguration or the celebration of what's coming with one of the top artists in the world. It's an Spaniard artist that's bringing some sculptures to Central Park, and he's normally will put him in places like Paris or New York or those cities, and we're going to have them in Doral.
That's amazing.
This Saturday is the first day that we're going to have them, and everybody's welcome. It's at 11 o'clock in the morning. And that's so art and we were going to, it was announced by the city that we're going to have an arts center near City Hall, and it's a beautiful design and areas where people can expose galleries and museum, that type of stuff. So art is very important. So to become a world-class city, like we were saying, art, it's part of that puzzle, and it's happening, and it's exciting, very exciting.
So who's the think tank behind that? I mean, what group of people at either in
the unity that I was talking about?
Right. Well, maybe it is, right? To get to that, because when it's sort of like a photograph. It's made up of little pixels, and when you have these little dots, and after a while, then you have a beautiful picture.
Well, a lot of these ideas and things that are happening come from residents or business owners that approach the council with great ideas, and ideas that have basis, not just, hey, I want this. No, then they come with a project, with something that you can touch and say, hey, this is good for our city. So that's an idea starts, and it starts growing, just like we had in the year 2000 when we started thinking of becoming a city.
Yes.
And you have to work for it. It doesn't come overnight. It's just like anything that you build. It takes time and it takes effort. But I think a lot of the things that have those ideas come from residents and or business owners that have businesses in Doral.
So, Oscar, you brought up about transparency, and people want that, right?
Definitely.
Some people don't know they want it until they don't have it. They haven't said, oh, well, we know everything, right? But it's really important. So what are some of the things that the city can do, maybe they're already doing, but do more to make the people's business more transparent?
Well, one of the things that the mayor announced yesterday and the city announced yesterday is a software that we had before, and it was stopped during that period of chaos that we were talking about. And now it's I believe it's even better. It's a software where people can follow and see the budget, where it's spent, where the if you have a permit, you can follow the permit. And of course, there's a lot of things that we can do better, just like in our lives. But we are taking those steps, or they are taking the steps, and I will continue to support anything that brings transparency to our residents.
25 years ago, maybe less than that, 20 years ago, when Palmetto Bay and Pinecrest first started, we would print the check registry in our newspapers.
Oh, that's great.
This is before the internet. So
awesome.
Whenever that was, all right? Number one, it was really fun, all right? Number two, it caused people to see it and then to call. What about this, all right? But that's the people's business. So what one thing that would you like to specifically to be more transparent?
Anything. I believe anything that we can do to be transparent, it's key to government, not just us as a city, but government in general. So there's not one thing specifically.
So, you're raising your kids, and then one day you might have said, why didn't you tell me? All right. Well, I didn't think you. Right. So, folks, you got to say something. All right. If you want to see it, call your representative.
Of course,
over there. You can call the city manager.
Get involved. Right? Get involved is it takes time away from family and things that you might want to do. Maybe, have a wine or have something or a dinner at a place. But at the same time, it's very rewarding. When you get involved and start seeing the results like it happened to us. It's amazing, and that's something that your grandkids could talk about.
One of the great rewards we have, Tommy is producing the show, and my brother and I, the feelings that we get being able to share information like this with the people that are out there, it's really extraordinary. It's really good feeling, and whenever I'm sitting here, I have this connection to my father who passed a few years ago, that he used to be in radio and TV in the late 50s and 60s.
Nice.
And so I'm thinking. And I remember going to the radio station.
And here you are.
and it's just, and there is, I can feel it. All right. I'm even getting goosebumps thinking, who knew? All right. And that was just things that happen. So I was with Rabbi Yossi Harley the other day, and he said, Michael, here's a question I ask people. What 2020 are you living in? Are you living in the one that is COVID world, or are you living today and what it's going to be like? And he asked me what we learned so far. I said, what we learned is that we have the ability here to share content, information, personalities with so many people that we were not acutely aware of until COVID said, whatever way you're doing it before, doesn't matter anymore.
Yes.
So I'll ask you, candidate for council, what 2020 are you living in?
Well, I'm living in 2020 of learning. And like you said, we've all learned it's a tough time, or it's a difficult time because we weren't expecting it, and it was a surprise and we had to adjust. But at the same time, there's many things that we are doing now that we didn't think of doing. For instance, a lot of families, in my case, I spend a lot of time with my family, and I'm blessed with that. But a lot of families, they were concentrating in work a lot, and now they find themselves in their house with their kids, their wife, and they were able to share more than before, which is something that I think is positive from this whole situation that we're going through. I want to be very positive of 2021. I'm glad that several vaccines are on their way to the people. Yeah, like you do. And hope that we can last with those learning moments,
Yes.
or in anything that we learned from this, and keep it in our minds and keep it present, that family, it's important to spend time with family. It's important to value what you have. There's a lot of people that have died. There's something that's happening now which is called the post-COVID, and people are ill because of it. And if you're healthy and you can live your life to the fullest, I think that's something that you have to take.
I'm gonna start crying in a minute, folks.
I believe it. I really believe it. So it's a time to be united as well. I believe that not just one person can be the solution, or just one vaccine. We have to do our part, like you guys do. Look at this daily check. When I came in, you guys say, wait, spray my hands, make sure I had a mask, and after that, wait here. And we've been keeping that distance. I think every one of us, if we all do that until the solution is here, we will be part of that solution.
So one of the things I've learned, when COVID first came, it was like, okay, so what do we do about husband and wife, right? So distant, no, this. I'm closer to my wife today than ever before. We've been married for 38 years, because you realize that in a moment you could be gone.
Yes.
And just in a second.
Yes.
Right?
Any second.
And so I'm thankful to her, and thanks for sharing that. And we're going to say goodbye in a moment, but I want to say hello to, Zaluma Calado Rivero. Thank you. George Gonzalez. Hey, George, one of our fans. We're a fan of his. David Gonzalez. Oh, David Singer is back again. So what I'd like you to do is imagine there's a young person out there who's between the ages of 15 and 25, and he's sort of wondering about his life right now because of COVID. And I'd like you to talk to him or her, all right, in that camera. And you got 45 seconds, so then we're going to wrap it up. Go ahead.
Wow, that's great. I will tell that person the same thing I told my son very few days ago. One of my sons lives in Japan, and I told him, don't miss a train. Whenever you see a train stop there, get on it. There's a lot of opportunities in life, and those opportunities, you have to realize that they're here and they're coming for you. So don't be afraid. Get on the train and always do what makes you happy. I believe if you're not doing what makes you happy, you're not exercising your fullest. So that's my message to that 15-year-old.
By the way, out of the last 25 minutes, the most important part to me, right, is that last part.
Thank you.
Which is to send that message to somebody that's there. And
Yes.
Oscar Puig, I got it right?
Yes.
That's Puig.
Yes.
He's running for over here, Doral City Council. To appreciate your vote. It's on December 8th, and you go to your voting place.
Number 114
okay.
on the ballot.
Okay.
Oscar Puig. You can still send your ballot today, or by mail, or take it to the elections department in Doral. We have the opportunity to have the headquarters of the elections department in Doral. And on December 8th, every one of your precincts will be open from 7 to 7. And we'll be there to exercise your vote.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate
you.
it. And you're a great guest. And again,
Thank you
thanks
so
for
much.
joining us on Live with Miami's Community News. I want to thank Tommy for producing the show. And it is time for lunch. Thank you, guys.